What's going on, guys? We're back. It's Monday. I told you to read chapter 37 of Genesis, and we're going to hit some key points in it. I'm going to read some scriptures, but not all of the chapter. Let's dive right in because I only got 10 minutes, and I've got some points here that struck me. Hopefully, they'll do the same thing for you that they did for me when they hit me. So we start, and the first verse says, "Now Jacob dwelt in the land where his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. This is the history of Jacob." Interesting, right after that, it says nothing about Jacob anymore. It focuses in on Joseph. That's interesting to me for 2 points. One, Jacob is a man that knows about waiting. He waited for 7 years for his wife with his uncle. His uncle had a place and he went over there to work for him because his mother sent him over there. He was there. He said he saw Leah. He saw Rachel and he wanted to marry her. So he said, "I'll work 7 years for her." His uncle said, "Okay, you work 7 years. After the 7 years, his uncle tricked him and made him marry the older daughter, which was Leah. So he told his uncle, "I'll work another 7 years for the woman I love." So he ended up waiting 14 years before he can marry her. It's interesting, the two waits here. Jacob was willing to wait, and sometimes we are. We're willing to wait as long as we see what the outcome is. I know what I'm going to get at the end, so yeah. Not so with Joseph. Joseph went through his waiting period like most of us do without knowing what's on the other end. Whether it's going to be beneficial or not, we have no idea. We're just waiting, struggling through it. Jacob was struggling through. He had to work those 14 years. Then on top of that, he had to wait another 14 years before he had any children with her. And if you understand scripture, that was a big thing for women to have children. But God didn't allow her to until the end, towards the end of her life. Now, Joseph was the firstborn for her. Benjamin was the second, and when she was giving birth to him, she died, and she knew she was going to die. But we'll get to that later on. Now, if you want to know that love story, or that story, it's in Genesis 29, which Rachel, Jacob, and Leah, and uncle that tricked him. So he's accustomed to waiting. He knows about waiting. So it's interesting that it mentions him here, but it doesn't mention him anyplace else. I mean, it mentions him in spots, but the whole focus after this statement, chapter 37, verse 1, the beginning of verse 2, and then after that, everything else is focused on Joseph. And I think the reason is because their waiting was different. It's easy to wait for something you know you're getting at the end because it's on your terms. Joseph's waiting wasn't on his terms. It was on his brother's terms, or so he thought. And later on, it enlightened him that it wasn't really his brother's, but God has set this thing up. So that's the one thing about that. The other thing is that it says this is the history of Jacob, yet it begins to tell you everything about Joseph. I believe that our future, sometimes our history, our legacy is not wrapped up in us. It's wrapped up in someone else, because we shouldn't be self-centered about anything we do for God. Everything we do for God, when God does it, he does it counting everyone, not just you. You might get some blessing from it. You may be used from it, but you're not the focal point. So our legacy is wrapped up in other people. I'll say this short. Sometimes our Christian brothers and sisters don't help each other. They're all about getting themselves where they need to be. They don't look around and see, who can I help? Who has a gift that I can pour into? No, it's all about, hey, how can you pour into me so that I can be something? It's totally different here, because Jacob's history was tied up in Joseph, but his mindset wasn't what it needed to be, Jacob's. And we'll get into that in a minute. So that's that. And I know I'm running out of time. I told you to be 10 minutes, so I'm going to tell you right now, we ain't going to finish chapter 37. There's so much in here, and I want to get it. Now, it blessed me. Hopefully it'll bless you. All right, so Joseph had an assignment, and he fulfilled it. Now, again, I said that our purpose sometimes, or our assignment, our legacy, our history, not our purpose, but our history, because it's God's purpose. Our history and our legacy sometimes is wrapped up in somebody else. Do you know who Mordecai Ham is? I'm sure nobody knows who, well, some people may know who Mordecai Ham is. I had to look him up. Mordecai Ham was the one who preached a sermon that got Billy Graham to accept Christ in his life. So we all know who Billy Graham is. But Mordecai was the one that gave him the gospel that got him to turn. But nobody remembers him. Who brought Simon Peter to Christ? I'll give you a minute because that's all I got. Andrew. We don't know too much about Andrew because in the total of the four Gospels, he's mentioned only 12 times. And of the 4 times of the 12, he's only mentioned when they give they give the order of the disciples. His name is in there. The other 8 times, it's not as big, but it are important because he was the first one to call Jesus the Messiah. He's also the one that brought Simon Peter to Christ, and he was a disciple of John the Baptist. And also, he was the one that brought the fish and the loaves from the little boy to Jesus that fed the 5,000. So we know a little bit about him, his assignments. He completed his assignments. Although we don't hear too much about him. I mean, he don't got any books in the Bible. Peter does. Peter is mentioned all in the book of Acts. Our assignment is not about us, but it is about pleasing God. It's about God's purpose, our assignment. A purpose is something you create. It's a goal you shoot for. An assignment is something that's given to you to complete. Okay, so and I'm running out of time already. The third thing, right? Now, Joseph was 17 when he started this. Now figure this, 17, his life starts changing. His life starts falling apart, right? His father loved him so much that the other children knew it and hated him for it. Get this now. Sometimes people are going to hate you, not for anything you do or anything that's inside you. They're going to dislike you because of the way someone else, maybe the way God treats you, or maybe the way someone else speaks about you, or someone else tells them about you. So they'll have an opinion of you that has nothing to do with you. They'll hate you. They won't want to be around you. They will look at you despitefully because of something that had nothing to do with you. Get that in your head. His brothers hated him because of the love his father had for him. And what compounded it was that his father loved him so much, he gave him a coat of many colors. None of the other boys had that. Now remember, this is a story of one man, Jacob, 4 women, and 13 children. I say 13 because Dinah is in there. She's the only girl that Jacob had. He had 12 boys. So this is a story of them and how this father, the way he treated one child, made all the other ones hate him, except for his younger brother, Benjamin. He didn't hate him, but all the other ones did. So we get to the point now to where his father has sent him out with his brothers to work. And when he came back, he gave a bad report about his brothers. So his brothers hated him already. Now, when they go out, he doesn't go with them. I guess his father was smart enough to say, no, I'm going to keep him home with Benjamin. So he keeps him home. He sends the boys out, and then he sends him out to go check on your brothers and see how they're doing with the sheep. So when they see him coming, and this is crucial for me, they see him coming, and the first thing they see, of course, is the coat of many colors, and now they hate him even more. And before that happened, I skipped over. He told them about a dream he had. And the dream was about that they were out somewhere, and their sheaves all bent down to his, right? They said, well, we're going to serve you. He had a second dream about the sun, the moon, and the stars all bowing down to him. Now, notice that they didn't have to have the dream interpreted for them. They automatically knew who they were in the dream. And the problem with the dream was not that the dream was inaccurate. Their problem was their position in the dream. Sometimes your position in other people's lives will irritate you, but that's the position God has given you. If you're a child of God, if you're doing the things that honor God, if you're looking for his purpose and not your own, if you're waiting for him to give you your assignment so that you can go fulfill it, because that is exactly what you were made for, to fulfill the assignment he gives you for his purpose. Jesus, it said of Jesus, it said that for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross. So his assignment, and I don't want to be disrespectful to Christ, his assignment was to come and die for the world. That's plainly stated out in Scripture. You think he fulfilled his assignment? It says that for the joy that was set before him, right? He endured the cross for the joy. The cross wasn't the joy. It was the other side. He could see what was on the other side of that cross. We don't have that luxury. But that's why we wait. While we're waiting, we need to get closer to him. Why? Because when we get closer to him, the things that seem relevant at the time for us don't seem so relevant anymore. The things that we thought were important, they don't seem that important anymore. The one thing that Joseph hung on to was God. All the other things didn't seem important anymore. He got his ministry taken from him because the dreams was the source of the problem for the brothers. The fact that his father loved him so much, that was a source of dream or discontent for his brothers. The coat of many colors. Let me say this and I'm done because I'm at 10 minutes right now. Sometimes what we wear irritates people. The way we carry ourselves. Make sure you're carrying yourself with the love that God has given you. That coat, he didn't ask for it. And he wore it with pride because his father gave it to him. Whatever God gives you, honor it. Wear it with pride. Don't walk around boastful. Don't walk around arrogant. God, he's given us. Let me put me in the mix too. He's given us, and we walk around sometimes arrogant. We walk around sometimes acting like we somebody. God, I don't want to act that way. I don't want to act like I'm nobody. I'm trying to get you to see somebody who's not me. I don't want this to be about me because it will leave you still wanting more. It will leave you hungry. It would leave you unsatisfied. But God will satisfy you. He will comfort you when nothing else can. He will bring you peace when everything is going sideways around you. So that's what I want to leave you with now is that the coat of man, how are you wearing what God gave you? How are we wearing it? God, how am I wearing it? I don't want to wear it with arrogance. I don't want to wear it with pride. He gave it to me because he valued me. Jesus died on the cross because God wanted me to get out, because Jesus said they can't make it without me. So how am I representing him? Now look what they did to him, and I'm going to be finished in a minute. They took the coat. When they saw him coming, they despised the coat, and they knew it was him. He was afar off because of the coat. Some people are going to know us because of the way we act, the way we represent Christ, and they're going to hate it. And it's not because we do anything wrong. It's not because we rep him wrong. It's not because we come out of pocket the wrong way. It's because they hate Christ and we represent him, and they hate the fact that when you're around, you remind them of how much they're missing on the true joy of God, the true joy of life, which is Christ. So rep him well. Don't come out of pocket the wrong way representing him or accusing people or mistreating people or looking down on people. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And if I have, I apologize to you right now. Come and talk to me. Because sometimes people get offended by things we do and we don't even know. Joseph didn't know that telling his dreams would be something as an irritant to people. Sometimes God gives us something and we run to share it with people because we want them to be as excited about it as we are. And they're not excited about it. They hate us for it. And it's not no doing of our own. We're not bragging. We're trying to say, man, look, I'm happy. Can you share in my joy? No, can't do it. I'm going to hate you because I ain't got that. The character of Christ says, right, that we should treat others better than we treat ourselves, especially believers. It says you should treat everybody good, especially those of the household of faith. We should be completely more willing to help other people that are in Christ achieve their goals, man. If I disappear, what did John the Baptist say? He said he will increase and I'll decrease. He was good with that. I want to be good with that. I want to decrease me. I want to be able to share my dreams with people, the stuff I want to do, the stuff God has given me, and have people be happy with me, not hate me for it, despise me for it, or worse, try to hinder me from achieving what God's given me to do. I'm just trying to I'm trying to understand the assignment. I'm trying to finish my assignment, guys. Help me. And if you got an assignment and I can help you, let me know. Because God will tell me, help him, help her. Get in there and do the part that you can do. And it's not about you, Nelson. So back up, finish and move. I'm trying to understand my assignment, guys. and I'm trying to fulfill it. I'll get to the rest of it because I'm already at 15 minutes. I'll get to the rest of it next Monday. I told you I was going to try to go fast, but hopefully you're getting blessed with this, because I am. I'm getting jacked up over here. God is smacking me around. But I'm learning, and I'm okay, because he's still here with me. He ain't smacking me and leaving me. He's like, come on, get closer to me. Get closer to me. Because that's when you'll really understand what it is, Nelson, I'm trying to give you. And what I'm trying to do through you. Okay, guys. That's where we end. As always, remember to stay strong. Stay focused. Stay encouraged. And stay safe. Love you guys. God bless.